Jeremy Vine. Sorry about
Well, you'd stare, wouldn't you, if Debbie Harry walked in the room?
We're basically doing a half-an-hour interview, BBC One, and the mobiles all get turned off before we start.
The lead singer of Blondie is a true pop icon. Punk's Marilyn Monroe, everyone's pin-up. We had a very revealing conversation as she talked about being ripped off by the record industry.
If I ever go crazy, you know, I'll probably arm myself and go take revenge.
About watching from her balcony as the Twin Towers went down.
I saw the first one, and then, you know, I figured, oh, well, okay. But when the second one hit, I knew it wasn't an accident.
And on trying to find her natural mother.
I tried. I felt like I had a, you know, a duty to do that.
It's easy to forget, when she broke through, Debbie Harry had a quality not seen in pop very often: age. She was 33 when Blondie put out their first album in 1977. But it wasn't just the music, it was the way she looked. Beautiful and angry, glamorous and trashy.
Do you find that you're 58? You get sick and tired of people talking to you and thinking of you as the sex symbol, the Blondie?
I don't know if I don't feel condemned by that anymore. I feel that I'm satisfied with my work, and I enjoy my work so much, and I feel so privileged to have this life that doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean anything.
You don't mind, or you like being seen as a sex symbol now? Because you still are one.
You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everything else is too. So, thank you very much. God bless you if you think I'm sexy. I love you.
Because Shirley Manson from Garbage said if we had to name one person as the pop cultural icon, so that 1,000 years from now people could see why we're all obsessed with pop stars, Deborah Harry would be it.
Oh, she's such a sweetie.
That's quite something to say, to have that said about you.
It's so prone to exaggeration, isn't she?
But it's about you, how you look, it's about the music as well. It's the perfect compliment for a pop star, actually, isn't it?
It's just completely wonderful and lovely. Thank you, Shirley.
When I think of Blondie, I think of a picture. I mean, you wrote a song called Picture This.
Right.
I think of the music, but I also have a very strong picture in my mind.
Well, yeah, I think that that was sort of one of the things that I brought to the genre. Was that my major influence was film stars. So, you know, I really wanted that, you know, part of me and part of, you know, the visual to be, you know, very obvious.
I was hunting out some of your old lyrics, and I wrote them down. I want to be a platinum blonde, just like all the sexy stars. I think this was your first track, actually. Marilyn and Jean, Jane, May, Marlene, yeah, they really had fun in a luminous day-glow shade.
Yeah.
And here you are, still blonde, 25 years on.
Well, not quite luminous, but...
Is that still the motif?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's sort of a done deal in that respect. I'm not the only one to have done it now.
I began to think I was meeting pop's ultimate free spirit. And the Debbie Harry of Blondie, who so many people fell in love with, was not, it seems, an act. She'd always been a rebel.
You were brought up in a small town in New Jersey.
Right.
And you lived a fairly frustrating life. Is that right?
Well, I think it was sort of, you know, schizophrenic in a way. You know, that small town person with big ideas, or, you know, wanting to, you know, see what the big bad world was all about, and that kind of deal. I broke out when I, you know, moved out, you know, and I just decided to you know, that I had to live in New York and try to be an artist of some sort.
Because I remember you being quoted once saying that you were really oversexed, and you used to go to this part of
Oh,
town
that, you're going to bring that up.
near Patterson.
Yeah.
Well, you can bring it up. I
I
won't.
don't know if I really was oversexed. I probably was just, you know, sexed as everybody else. And it was just a sort of a hangout, pickup kind of area. They had great dances there, and there was a lot of great kids up there, and it was just, you know, it was fun. I think that was probably one of the things that I did that was a little bit out of the ordinary for girls from my town at my time. You know, was to venture out and go to these other towns and go to dances and go to parties. You know, I was sort of adventurous in that way. I really wanted to branch out.
So that's the young Debbie Harry. You've lived this sheltered life in this strange small place. What was it called, actually?
Strange small place.
Whatever it was, I'm going from your own descriptions of it.
It was a
What
little
was it
town
called?
named Hawthorne, New Jersey.
Hawthorne, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Apologies to all Hawthornians. Was there kind of a flash of light where you thought, I am not the person I was brought up to be?
No, I think that I probably knew that all along. You know, that I always had a sense of, you know, that I would have to lead a different kind of life to be really, truly happy.
So you always knew your life would be different from the kind of life your parents...
Well, yeah, I knew that I
leading.
was an artist, whether, you know, wasn't quite sure, you know, what kind of an artist.
But not a small-town person.
Well, there really wasn't any real art scene there in my little town.
All I want is a photo with my wallet, a small remembrance of something more solid. All I want is a picture of you.
You sense Debbie pushed for fame because she never felt settled. Aged 3 months, her mother gave her up for adoption.
Did you ever try to find your natural mother?
I did, actually, at one time. I did try to find her.
Tell us more.
The states have different laws about, you know, privacy, and I was unsuccessful.
Did you track her down? Find out where she was?
I did, actually. I did find out where she was, and it was, you know, she wasn't interested in meeting up, so.
Was that after you became capital D, capital H, Debbie Harry?
Capital D-H.
So she knew what she was dealing with?
I don't know. I have no idea what her world was about or anything. I think that, in a way, I did the best thing for myself, you know. I just waited till I was really an adult and not really needing a parent. I think that, you know, sometimes kids go looking for their parents when they're still sort of, you know, needy about it. And then, you know, they face another rejection of some sort, and it can be really tragic. So I think, in a way, I sort of saved myself a great deal of pain by waiting. And, you know, I sort of appreciated the fact that, you know, okay, you know, this is a person who's taken another direction in life, and I'm not really a part of it, and I have a great life, you know, so, okay, fine. I tried. I felt like I had a, you know, a duty to do that for myself, and also, you know, for her possibly, because I don't think that, you know, I have no idea that she knew who I was.
Did you want to show her what you'd become?
I suppose there was some, you know, part of me, some childlike part of me that, you know, wanted to say, hey, look, I'm okay. Came out okay.
Prove something, maybe.
I don't really know if I would put it like that. I don't think I felt like, I think that all that, you know, that I had to, all that proving stuff sort of had come before. As I say, you know, I didn't really do it till I was well into my 40s.
So you then banked the whole Blondie experience and were looking at your life and
Yeah, I think so.
interested in where you'd come from.
Perhaps, yeah. I think maybe, you know, I was always curious to some, you know, some extent, but I had never really activated or, you know, moved on it. And then I got to a point thinking, well, you know, if you don't do it now, perhaps it, you know, would be impossible. You know, that kind of thing. Started realizing, you know, mortality and all those serious things.
It does seem strange that she contacted, I assume through a third party, would say, not interested. Do you think she was worried about seeing you?
I have no idea. I think that I can't possibly guess, you know. I don't really know the circumstances about any of it, so we could write a story and make it up. And it's just,
Or a song?
yeah.
She was a concert pianist, I read.
That's what I heard. I mean, that's what my mother told me, that, you know, that's why she thought that, you know, I had musical talent, was because of that. And I don't know how much of any of it's true, really.
Do you feel that that experience of being adopted and then, you know, not knowing who your natural mother was and why she gave you up and so on, in some way drove you as Blondie?
Well, whatever the, you know, complexities of a personality are, something drove me, you know, wanting to, you know, be the person that I felt I, you know, had inside of me. You know, I wanted to find expression for, you know, this emotional center, this core of my, you know, whatever I felt that I was, that, you know, that I felt had to, you know, come out. You know, I don't know what all those reasons are. I think it doesn't necessarily have to do with being adopted or being a natural, you know, child of, you know, natural parentage. I mean, I just think that it happens. You know, you want to find out who you are. It's a great survival mechanism of some sort, I suppose.
Your adoptive mother, I think, told you her one piece of advice was never use your beauty in life.
Well, no, she said not to rely on looks alone, you know, that I think that she, you know, had a wit, you know, certain wit, and found that, you know, to be a vacuous sort of good-looking person wasn't really enough, that one should try to be a little bit more. And I probably would have been much more vacuous without her.
Blondie timed their moves well. The band started when Debbie met Chris Stein in 1974. 4 years later, on the crest of the new wave, they put out Parallel Lines, a storming, almost perfect pop album. You can hear in every note how hard they were working, but their bosses didn't think they deserved to get much back.
Let's talk about the music. And one thing I know that you've talked about, it's really interesting, is the attitude in the music industry to you as a woman when you were on the way up. Mm-hmm. And industry bosses thinking that, I think you've said, that they wanted to screw you. And they did so on the professional plane. Is that how you feel? You look back and you think that you got badly treated by the industry itself?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I mean, I think that you know, we had a terrific run, and we had terrific support. And then on the other hand, you know, when the record company or, you know, people would call up, they all assumed that, you know, Chris was the one with the ideas and that I was the, you know.
That must have been a bit annoying for you.
Yeah, well, it was sort of, I felt rude, you know, the assumption was rude and incorrect.
How did you write the songs?
How did I write them? Well, Chris would, you know, come up with some music, and then I would sort of wander off with a piece of paper and a pen and listen to the things over and over again and try to come up with an idea. Sometimes I had you know, call it, I have little snippets and, you know, bits of scribble, you know, that I save and squirrel them away in a little book, and then I pull them out and I say, oh, I like that one, and just try to develop them.
Do you think that these industry bosses in some way exploited you because you frustrated them?
I don't think so. I mean...
You didn't get great record deals, did you?
Yeah, I mean, we were just not very well represented. I don't know. I think that the nature of the business is such that, you know, or any business really, if you don't protect yourself and have, you know, good representation, then you become victimized. I think that that's the nature of any business.
And you signed something at one point saying you do 3 albums a year?
Yeah, so our first contract was for 3 albums a year.
That's unbelievable.
So it's so crazy. I know.
How did it? What were you thinking of when you signed? I suppose you were keen to sign anything.
I don't think I had any representation when I signed the contract. I was, you know, misrepresented or unrepresented.
Did you regret that?
Yes.
Because the effect of it is
Was kind of long-term, actually.
even now.
No, not now.
But in terms of getting the royalties you deserve from the songs you made,
Yeah, it took a long time to straighten that out.
how much do you think you've missed out on?
Figure-wise, I have no idea. I have
You
no
want to
idea.
make a guess at it?
No.
I mean, I asked this because a friend told me that
Listen, I have to interject here. There was a time when I felt very, sort of victimized by all of this, and I think now that I have to take responsibility for that. So it's gone, it's over. It's not something that I walk around sort of harboring this sort of thing. It's not in my life. It's something, okay, I've taken care of it, it's gone. I take responsibility for, being foolish and not doing the right thing business-wise, and that's it. It's over.
But you only get really one chance to make that mistake.
I don't really know. I think that everyone's opportunities are different, and some people have one chance, and I've had more than one chance, and I can't imagine why, but thank you.
I was asking this partly because I know you live quite a modest life in New York. You have a one flat apartment and a dog.
2 dogs.
2 dogs, I'm sorry.
And a cat.
I was less modest than I thought.
And a big thing of fish.
Right, but you
Just
don't
kidding, just
live,
kidding.
you don't live the
And a
class.
turtle, a 3-legged turtle.
But that's not the classic rock star lifestyle.
I have a very nice flat, actually. It was a huge 3-bedroom flat. It was extraordinary, really. So I had a view of the entire Hudson River and southern tip of Manhattan and Staten Island and the harbor. It was just gorgeous.
So we shouldn't assume from the fact that you have only one apartment in New York, that you are still suffering for that from that early contract.
I think that, that, definitely took a big chunk out of, the opportunities, the financial opportunities for me. But I think I'm just sort of recovering from it now.
Just now,
Yeah.
25 years on.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
just trying to
amazing,
work
isn't
out
it?
how it is
Pretty
amazing.
outrageous. It's outrageous.
Because actually, I would assume that you would be sitting on millions and millions of dollars from Blondie.
Everyone assumes that. Everyone assumes that.
So the record company is sitting on the money. Well, somebody is, but it's not you.
Somebody's
But
sitting
you've
there.
obviously got over that. You've thought about it, and you've decided not to mind.
Well, I mean, it's not going to do me any good to sort of be eaten up by it. And there was a time when it really did bother me. And I suppose if I ever go crazy, I'll probably arm myself and go take revenge. I don't know, it's just, what can you do?
Give us the interview when you do that, won't you?
You want the interview?
Yeah, the day after.
The exclusive. In the cell, right?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll be there. New York is very special to you, obviously. You lived there for a long time. Tell us about, were you there on 9/11?
Yeah.
Where were you on 9/11?
Watching it from my window, because I have that view.
So what did you see? You saw what we all saw. And what went through your mind?
I saw it in the flesh. It was, well, when I saw the first one, and then, I figured, oh, well, okay. But when the second one hit, I knew it wasn't an accident. It was just, uh-oh, what's this about? And it was very alarming.
And shocked you, upset you
Everything.
for a long time. Did it?
I think for about 2 weeks, it was, I went through all of the emotional sort of changes about it, shock, horror, sadness, anger, fear. And, these were all things that just sort of, it wasn't sort of like an intellectual process either, which I was really surprised about. It was really sort of like an animal reaction to it, and I was really surprised about that.
Animal reaction.
Yeah, I think that it was sort of all these different little survival mechanisms that sort of went on, and something that I had never really experienced. I've never been in a war situation or any kind of really, I've been in threatening situations, but it's usually been in a one-on-one confrontation. It's never been from like some complete power out of the blue. You know, it's just mind-boggling, really, and it makes you, I don't know, have animal reactions. I felt that those were animal reactions.
Harry and Stein became lovers, but in 1982 Chris Stein fell seriously ill with a rare skin disease and the band fell apart. If Debbie had lived the life of a pin-up before, things were now painfully real.
I just wanted you to talk to us about Chris and his illness.
He's still ill.
What was that like for you, looking after Chris Stein when he was very, very ill?
It was kind of scary, you know.
He nearly died.
He was very sick, yeah. I don't think he realizes how sick he was, but maybe that's good.
And the band was on hold, and you were at his bedside.
Sort of. I mean, I didn't single-handedly care for him, that's for sure. But I would never have left him, you know, alone.
What did that put you through?
I think it's terrible, you know, when you're sort of helpless and can't really, you know, help somebody and you really care about them. It's very difficult. And I think most of us have this experience with our parents at one time or another. And also, you know, it happens in life. I mean, people get sick, and some of them get very, very sick. And it's, you know, it's hard to watch, and sometimes it's impossible to help them. But, I mean, we all do it.
Was that a moment beyond the end of your relationship, your love relationship? If I can describe
What do you
it like
mean?
that? Well, when you dated each other and so on, where did that come in the middle of all that?
What, his illness?
Yeah.
Oh, it was sort of part of the reason I think he got sick was stress and the, you know, the sort of stress that we were under with the band and everything like that. So I think it was sort of at the end of when we sort of like were reaching the end of our rope, as it were. And I think that's the way he reached the end of his rope. Got sick.
Do you still love him?
Very much. I think Chris is a wonderful person.
Is he the love of your life?
Perhaps, yeah. I would say probably one of the loves of my life.
That must be a really, really, really difficult period for you to look back to now, because it was the professional and the personal were intertwined. The group was on pause. He was almost dying. It's like the perfect storm.
It was kind of madness, wasn't it? Well, I mean, it's an unusual experience. I'm sort of, as they say, you know, is it a curse or is it a blessing? You know, I mean, it's just the way it was. I mean, I couldn't recommend it, and I couldn't say don't do it. You know, it just, whoa! It was just, I don't know, some sort of mad section of my life.
Painful period for you. And for him.
You know, I think that it's sort of, you know, talking about it like this is making it seem like it's so much more overpowering than it actually was. I mean, it was just sort of, I don't know, I guess we're the kind of people that just sort of survive and you just get through things, and I think that that's what most people do. It's not like, you know, you're sort of wallowing in this sort of morass of, you know, complications. I mean, you just sort of, oh, okay, I'll go that way for a while, and you wiggle over that way for a while. And, you know, it's just the way it is.
In 1986, Debbie said, from now on, it's Deborah, and launched an ambitious solo career. Stein got his health back, but they broke up. He's married twice. She stayed single.
You've never been married.
No,
You haven't had children.
no.
Can I ask you why?
When I was with Chris, I wasn't really ready. And I don't think I would have made a very good parent. I probably would make a terrific parent now.
I know you said you don't fall in love very often as well.
Well, does anyone, I mean, really fall in love a lot? I mean, I love people, and I love love. I think love is the most important thing in the world. And I do love a lot of people, and I certainly have crushes, but, you know, and that kind of sort of long-term love is, I think, kind of rare. So in my life it has been.
Have you ever been tempted to settle for less?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I have some great friends that I spend a lot of time with, and I'm really happy with that.
I mean, maybe if someone comes along and they're not quite right and they propose and you think,
I don't know. Are you asking?
what time is it?
With Blondie back, it's possible to compare the Debbie of old with the older Debbie. The face is still a pop star's face, but the person behind it is somehow more human. The new album is the curse of Blondie, as if the downs outweigh the ups.
Would you do it all over again? If you had your life again?
Absolutely.
You're living in Hawthorne, you'd go the same way, do the same thing.
No, I mean, obviously I would, you know, try to, you know, do things differently, but I love my life, and I'd be a fool not to.
If you started at 33, which now is
No, I
quite
didn't.
old,
I didn't.
but
I
you broke
started
through.
at,
But you broke through at about
28, 27.
when you hear, because I remember when you
Right.
became the pin-up on.
I guess it
I
is
and my brother's bedroom
impossibly
walls.
old in today's world.
So if you were going for it now, there'd be much less chance of you making it, you think, at that age.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's just completely weird, don't you think?
It's quite an advanced age for a pop star, yeah. Seriously. You were the pin-up at 33 on everybody's bedroom wall.
Well, I think
That's
everyone
quite
has a
late
different
on.
sort of lifespan, don't they? I mean, some people, you know, mature at 13, and I'm just probably a late bloomer.
When you asked as a teenager what you wanted to be when you grew up, you said, famous, what else? Is fame all it's cracked up to be?
Yes, I suppose it is. You know, I think
I'm not sure.
I don't know, you know, I mean, I need certain areas of privacy and anonymity, but I think, you know, fame has really helped me. I think it's been good for me.
What do you think of when you think back to the start of Blondie, everyone going crazy?
Well, I think how wonderful and how preposterous at the same time, and, you know, how lucky we were, and, you know, what a great ride.
Was it for you at the time?
At the time, I was, you know, probably, I don't know, running very fast to sort of catch up with myself at times, you know, and I think that's the nature of the business, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Debbie Harry, thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.